This is CJ's Dream Garage. In this video I'll be featuring a 2023 Audi A4. I was able to rent this car for 5 days on a recent trip, and it obviously has Ontario plates. The plate says Audi of Winnipeg, and so it was a truly interesting multi-provincial situation where I was from another province driving in a totally different province with a car bought in Winnipeg, but a rental from Ontario. So yeah, I really was excited when I was able to get an upgrade to a luxury car, and so the A4 was one of the options. BMW, there was a Mustang as well, but the Audi and the Mustang were the only ones available at the airport at the time, and so I basically chose the Audi A4 because I was chauffeuring around my parents who are older, and it just seemed like it was a more feasible vehicle to get them into. First of all, I really love the grille of this Audi A4 with those badge rings of Audi in front on that diamond-shaped grille. The black finish was very shiny and polished. I do apologize that the car is not perfectly clean. I was kind of surprised when I did pick it up that it had a lot of dust on it, and certain areas just seemed to be more like it's a static dust. It just picked up lighter dust. I did eventually give it a bit of a wash, just a rinse, just for the purpose of video. But there's that diamond-shaped grille again with those beautiful headlights with the multiple little accents on the top with all those LED lights. The rims are okay. They're basically multi-spoke rims. Of course, not center lock. They're not a racing car, but they give a good look, and they got the Audi badge right in the center on the hub, and the tires are quite wide, as you can see here from this angle, and it gives a really nice driving feel. One of the challenges that I never did find out about this vehicle is that it seems to have some sort of driver assist, and so sometimes when I'm exiting the highway to go onto a off-ramp or to go onto an on-ramp, sometimes the car would pull quite a bit, and it would kind of freak me out, and then I'm not used to that on the vehicles I drive yet. They're not that modern, but it did have a little message that would come up, say take the wheel, something like that. So yeah, I started to realize I think there's some technology here that I'm definitely not familiar with and haven't used before, that made it kind of feel, especially in times where there was ruts on the road, they would kind of yank it over. The mirrors I found too were very small. From the inside, you look at the mirror and you're just like, whoa, I can't see anything in these mirrors. They're just so small. And so that would be one thing I didn't like about this vehicle. The headlights look amazing, as I mentioned before. They give that cool vibe on the video here, but the main beams below are a very cool kind of angry and aggressive look. There's some multiple airflow through that grille and the side intakes. It looks like there's room for fog lights at the front as well, but they're not in this particular model. As I said, the lights overall, I love what Audi's doing with all their lights, the detail they're putting into them. Not only the headlights, but also the taillights as well. Here I gave it a bit of a rinse and was able to kind of further film in a different location with the beautiful sun overhead and kind of broken cloud. And so here it is, just kind of drying off in the driveway and with some nice views of acreages behind. Yeah, just really enjoyed driving this vehicle. There were a few challenges in terms of the infotainment system that didn't seem very intuitive. I wasn't able to really figure out the radio, for example, and my Apple basically iPhone kind of platform sharing didn't always work well. It seemed to be sporadic. Sometimes it would seem to pick it up and sometimes it wouldn't. I was kind of wondering if it's actually when I plugged in my iPhone that it would actually hook up and, for example, put Google Maps on the screen. So when I just put my Apple phone or my iPhone say on a holder so I could see. What would happen is I put in my Google directions and suddenly it would just go to the play-by-play, turn left in 500 meters or that kind of thing, all the written material, but there'd be no actual display up in terms of directions. But then the last day it suddenly worked again, so I'm like, I'm so confused, I don't completely get this. And I didn't have a lot of time to kind of tinker with the car. I'm sure that if you do have this car or you're thinking of getting it, you probably have more time with it. I just had, like I said, 5 days, but most of that time was just like, driving from the airport, getting stuff that I needed, picking up my parents, taking them here, taking them there. A lot of family kind of socializing time. And so not a lot of time to kind of just chill with the car and figure things out. We did open the hood though, and it's really hard to see the engine underneath. It's very covered and can't really tell. I think it's a 4-cylinder, but can't really tell more than that. But yeah, I'm more into the aesthetics of this car. I love the hood. It's very big. This feels like a very big car from the outside, I found. It did have a nice sunroof as well. But on the inside, it's actually quite small feeling. And I was amazed. Still lots of room, but just felt small. There's a couple other things too that were interesting about the vehicle. This button right here puts it into park, and to put it into drive of any sort, first of all, the starter button is down in here. You have to put your foot on the brake, and then you have to push this button in to go reverse or to go drive, or push this to go into park, and then this one here takes the e-brake off. The parking brake is just a little button you either pull up or push down to lock into place, and I found it quite challenging to kind of figure it out. I seem to always forget which direction to put it in, so when parking I would first, to deploy it, I'd be like, which way is it again, and finally get the light to go on. Of course, foot on the brake first and then put it on, and then also taking it off too was a challenge. Also on this particular model, the gear shift, it is automatic, but the shift button on the left side enables the gear to go into place, and so that's something I wasn't really used to as well. In my other vehicles, I'm just used to putting my foot on the brake and then shifting from park or neutral into drive or reverse, whereas this one you have to push a button on the left side of the column or the stick to be able to put it to reverse or forward. So that's one challenge of that as well. I did have the glove box just kind of open once on its own, so that was kind of weird too. It was very comfortable. This particular car only had 32,000 kilometers on it, and it smelled brand new. The black leather was a nice smell, but yeah, obviously a black car. This is basically spring. It's quite cool. Maybe the highest it got was 25 degrees Celsius, and so it wasn't the heat of summer, but I can only imagine that a car this color would just be all that much hotter. So we did use some ventilation, but not a lot of aircon, just to keep it cool. And so it'd be oftentimes opening it up when you first get in, just to kind of let the hot air out. So it did tend to heat up fast. I was initially kind of like, oh, I would have preferred a white car or some other color, but this did have a very good look to it and a good vibe, even though it doesn't distinguish things quite as much with the black color, all the accents and such, and the tires. But overall, it was a joy to drive for the week, and I really like how when I put it down to the floor, there was like a little bit of a lull, but then it really puts you back in your seat. And yeah, I didn't do anything too crazy, but just that power is there if you need it to get out of a situation where you're needing to merge quickly and get in front of somebody or whatever. It definitely comes in handy. It's got a good sound to it as well. Really enjoyed this car, and I'm really glad that I got to review it in a sense through 5 days of driving it around and renting it, and really thankful to my wife's uncle who was able to give us that family upgrade. And so hope this gives you some insight into the Audi A4 in this beautiful black, kind of piano black finish. Again, I apologize that it wasn't as clean as it could be. I was busy with other stuff, being with family, and I had thought about taking it to a car wash, but it is a rental car, so I didn't want to like spend a lot of money on washing a car that's, you know, not really mine. Let them do it, okay? So anyway, take care. Thanks for watching. Bye.